Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Kendall Jarbo. Recreational marijuana is now legal in Minnesota. That means adults 21 or older can smoke and possess up to a certain amount depending on its form. Minnesotans can also start growing up to 8 plants at home. Retailers can start selling marijuana seeds, but selling the drug itself will not be allowed until a new State Department comes up with regulations. It is also illegal to travel across state borders with the drug because marijuana is still illegal federally. In Northern News Now's Natalie Hepner visited a business on the Iron Range that opened its doors today, selling the supplies needed to grow marijuana. She spoke to the owners about the rush to get open right away. Natalie?
I'm here at 420 Organics in Hibbing, where you can learn how to cultivate and grow your own marijuana at home. Owners say today is a day they've been waiting a long time for. 420 Organics sells seeds along with at-home consultations that teaches customers how to grow on their personal property. Under the new law, adults in Minnesota can have 2 ounces of weed in public, 2 pounds at home, and grow up to 8 plants at home.
AC Infinity smart tents that we're offering right here.
Chris Skalski is one of the owners of 420 Organics and says he didn't expect legislation to happen this year, but decided to jump on the business opportunity.
No, this happened real quick. We had no idea that this was going to happen. It was something really exciting for us.
When growing at home, there cannot be more than 4 flowering at a time. The plants must be grown in an enclosed, locked space that's not open to public view. The owners are expecting a big crowd today. They're celebrating with a cookout at 4:20 p.m. downtown. In Hibbing, Natalie Hepner, Northern News Now.
Thank you, Natalie. And it is still illegal to sell recreational marijuana until the state establishes more rules. Bill authors anticipate it will be at least a year, if not more, before dispensaries can obtain licenses and open their doors. And plenty of other new laws go into effect in Minnesota today. One requires background checks for all private purchases of pistols and semi-automatic military-style assault weapons. Other new notable laws include making it harder to sell catalytic converters, hoping to deter people from stealing them. There are also new worker safety requirements in Minnesota warehouses, and bicyclists can now roll through stop signs as long as they're careful.